Information without discernment and proper application is information without wisdom,
Mhm.
because wisdom is the application of knowledge for the accomplishment of a particular purpose. And so when you don't have that, you have all of this downloaded stuff and you're sorting through it in isolation.
It's the spirit in mind. It's the spirit in mind. Keep the spirit in mind.
Welcome to the Spirit in Mind broadcast with your hosts, Bishop C. Guy Robinson and Dr. Jonathan Shepard, where we explore faith and mental health perspectives on current affairs. Let's get into today's discussion with the Spirit in Mind.
It's serious, but what as one who has embraced and I believe part of my calling, my vocation to kind of like move in and out both worlds. In some ways, I would argue that the mental health profession is on a similar trajectory to the ecclesiological or church or faith projection trajectory, because we're dealing with the same clientele, which is human nature.
Mhm.
And that's why we really do share a lot in common. By that, like, when I talk to persons on the mental health side of the community, when I'm in that space, that there's the concerns like you. It's everywhere now, and people are consulting, artificial intelligence and then Googling stuff, and looking up stuff and downloading all of this information without context.
Yes.
I believe AI calls it the black box problem, which is while it's referring to the idea of comparing like neural pathways and how do we reason and how do we reach the answers that we give out. The black box problem is we don't really know as far as how this AI answer came to this conclusion. What was the neurological pathway process? What was the line of logic? Who put in the data that contributed to this neurological pathway, if you will? How did this answer come about? And so not knowing that is the academic equivalent of not knowing the sources because they're not cited. So we get that. But here's my point. It is at this point that I tell persons when I'm in the mental health space that you sound like my colleagues in the theological space, because because same thing. You can Google a question, get all kinds of theological answers, reach these conclusions that make you anti-church or anti-God. You can reach all of them because you have all of this download of information, and information without discernment and proper application is information without wisdom. Because wisdom is the application of knowledge for the accomplishment of a particular purpose. And so when you don't have that, you have all of this downloaded stuff and you're sorting through it in isolation and self-diagnosing. Same thing. Reaching spiritual diagnoses.
Wow.
I don't need organized faith community. That's a diagnosis. Diagnosis means towards the knowledge. I know what my condition is. So I'm looking at all of this data supplied by apocryphal sources, which means uncertain origin. I don't know how they reach these conclusions. They're conflicting. And then I am saying, I know what my spiritual situation is. I'm diagnosing myself spiritually with limited experience. And so it's because we have, and I say to both sides, you have the same clientele. And the same clientele is to do that, to turn it into a trend, to adopt the language, to misapply it, and then to create their own versions of it. That is human nature. And I would say that is almost, as long as they're human beings, that is one of the ways in which the trajectory of the mental health disciplines is assuming the same trajectory of the theological faith traditions, because we're both servicing the same clientele. That's human nature.
Wow. And I want people to know that you can trust the sources that are coming from Spirit and Mind. That's what I want people to know, that Bishop has an earned doctorate, about to accomplish a second earned doctorate. I have gone through the rigors of medical school, so we want people to know that you can trust the sources here, just in case that was just going through somebody's mind. As he was saying those things, but this has been an awesome discussion. It really has, and I tell people, you just don't know how much you can get out of just talking about loneliness. It's a subject that we've got to talk about more. We got to be courageous about more. We got to be able to hear the advice, be able to recognize that we have to be interdependent. We also have to recognize that in doing so, when you isolate yourself, you're causing yourself to be more at risk of mental, physical, and emotional health disturbances. The physical health, you're causing yourself to be more at risk of hypertension, which leads to strokes, which leads to heart attacks. In regards to the mental health, you're leading yourself to be more at risk of depression. You're leading yourself to be more at risk of having even disturbances of where you're hearing things. Isn't that amazing? That can lead over into psychotic symptoms. Paranoia. Oh my God. Bishop, it's amazing. You're always jumping at things, and you hear this noise, and next thing you know, you hear that noise outside in the community, and you're jumping, and they wonder, like, what's wrong with you? It's possible you can spend too much time alone. We do need alone time, but it is possible you can spend so much time alone that you even miss the nuances that go along with being able to read people's cues and be able to socialize appropriately and things like that. That's some of that emotional health. Because sometimes people get a little bit confused. What do you mean by mental health versus emotional health? You want to have that emotional intelligence to read cues, be able to know when you're talking too much, or when you need to be quiet, you're not saying enough or whatnot. All of that is so important. So this is why this particular subject is so profound. It sounds easy, but let me tell you,
it's work. Yeah. And all those things you just talked about, when to be quiet, emotional intelligence, those things are developed not just in isolation, in community. They develop because knowing when to speak up presumes, like, okay, there's somebody in the room. Knowing when to read cues because it's somebody. And so I can't develop these skills. I can't realize my potential in isolation, and that's why it's so important. And that's why we're what I said a little earlier about the two being in the two worlds and going back and forth is because we really do have. There are certain ways in which the two disciplines have different perspectives, but because we're dealing with the same clientele, if you will, that is the human condition. We both have both fields when I'm moving in and out, like both fields are we really do have reasons to collaborate because we really do have the same things. I think of the ecclesiological or church or faith community traditions as the older brother because the formal psychological traditions are younger, much younger than the antiquity of faith traditions. And so there is something to learn from that experience because you can learn I was the older brother in my household, but I'm confident that my two younger brothers learned some things to do and some things not to do because they got to see how I went through it. And so I do think in terms of how to deal with people and how to help people in the most effective way, there are some ways in which faith traditions can be, if you will, the big brother to the helping traditions that are the mental health traditions, because who we're helping are the same people. In fact, I say all the time, I know we're about to wrap up, but one of the things that the pastor, the psychotherapist, and the physician have in common is that people are hesitant to see us if we provoke anxiety, and particularly men,
Yeah.
because our professions deal with taking a look inside, a
Mhm.
look inside spiritually, a look inside physically, a look inside psychosocially. And so people get a little bit hesitant to do that. And so it takes some effort to help people see that we really want to help and do no harm.
Right.
So, hey, don't live in loneliness. Don't be
Yeah.
ashamed to reach out for help. Dr. Shepherd's going to give our last words.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully that you will take those words that Bishop just said. I'm going to echo them. We're here to help you. If we have just helped one person, come on, hit us up. Let us know. I've given you email addresses, Spirit in Mind email address, I should say, Spirit in Mind health@gmail.com. If you're watching us on this YouTube or whatever platform that you're watching, just hit us up, comment. We do love to hear those comments, but we want to make sure that you're utilizing this tool so you do not remain in loneliness. I'll say it again. Well, utilize this tool so you don't remain in loneliness. That's one of our main purposes, to bring the help to you through whatever space that you're watching, so that you can get the help that you need. It really is our honor and privilege that you allow us into your space to hear, so that we can be able to be a help for you. So don't forget those different platforms. We got YouTube. We go through all your different platforms for podcasts, or Apple, Spotify, whatever platform that is. Just go ahead and look it up, Spirit in Mind or Spirit in Mind Health. We will definitely be there. We'll be glad to help you. Man, Bishop, this has been a good episode. It really has.
Yeah, and we're going, but it just dropped to me that a good pastoral care or psychotherapeutic session, it's not uncommon to have homework. So here's your homework. Here's your self-development homework. It's right from the scriptures, but it has relevance in psychotherapeutic settings too. Your homework is to show yourself friendly between now and the next episode. Scripture, be the friend you want to see. And I know that's going to make you vulnerable, but write down, jot it down. Maybe even if you feel led, share it in your next pastoral care or psychotherapeutic appointment. And say, hey, because this is not it. This is just giving you tools. Say, hey, I watched this Spirit of Mind episode and I showed myself friendly. And then here it is. I know it felt vulnerable, but I did it anyway. Or if you experience rejection from it, then that's how these episodes are intertwined, because we have check out our previous series on dealing with rejection, and then get right back out there and show yourself friendly again, because you were designed to fit somewhere, because we are social beings by divine design. Find your fit. And if this wasn't it, find the one that does. But don't let rejection keep you from connection. There's a connection.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from. I'm a poet and didn't know it. But we hope I hope this was helpful and hope inspiring for you. And by the grace of God, we look forward to seeing you next time right here on Spirit in Mind.
The Spirit in Mind.
Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at Spirit in Mind, and we're also on Instagram at Spirit in Mind Live. Join us next time for a new episode of Spirit